Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's video. We are in the community of Leaside, currently at Laird Drive and Wicksteed Avenue, and I'm heading eastbound along Wicksteed Avenue. I want to talk to you about something that I read in the paper. It is, by the way, Wednesday, the 9th of March. It's about 1:15 in the afternoon. It was +2 when I left home. It really is a nice day. It's a bit overcast, just like I like it. And I'm going to tell you about a new development that is in the planning right now. And I'm walking towards it because I do want you to see the neighborhood. This is Wicksteed Avenue going east. So it's fairly barren, I guess. Almost desolate. Maybe that's too strong a word. But it is slowly being built up. There is a big outdoor mall here to my right. So on the south side of Wicksteed. And there's a Home Depot down here, grocery store. I think it's Sobeys. There's Roots. You can see Winners. There's like all kinds of shopping in here. And then to the north, to my left, you can see some development going on here. This has been going on for a while. I think it's right behind here where this fencing is. They used to call it the Leaside Lake because last spring, I think it's when it received its name, the Leaside Lake, because it's a big dig, big hole in the ground, and it filled up with water just from the spring thaw and the spring rain. I don't remember what used to be here. I think it was mostly 1-2 story industrial businesses. This was a pretty industrial neighborhood. This outdoor mall came into play, I think, within the last 10 years, if I'm not mistaken. But I remember coming down this road and going to this one particular floor store that that we will be discussing today, or that I'll be talking about today rather, because it is going to be converted. It's going to be torn down and converted and built into what will look like a Flatiron building. Look at all the development here. Like that, I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up, but that Mercedes dealership never existed there 10 years ago. Or maybe it did 10 years ago, but certainly not 15. These low-rise buildings that you can see where the camera's angling, they've been here as long as I've been here. So that's over 30 years. I don't remember what was here before this outdoor mall was built. I don't recall, but I do remember coming to this flooring store, and it was a fairly desolate neighborhood, and I was glad to be driving, not walking. I don't even know if buses came down here back then. Anyhow, I'm just going to pull up my notes. And there was an article in the Globe and Mail written by David Israelson. And it talks about this new build. Which is located here in the Leaside neighborhood. So the Leaside neighborhood, it's northeast of downtown in the vicinity of Eglinton Avenue East and Bayview Avenue. That's considered the Leaside neighborhood. This is Brentcliffe. The camera may not pick it up, but there's 2 lights down. Not this light, not the next light, but I guess 3 lights down. That's Eglinton Avenue. And there's a new LRT line going through there. I did a complete walk of the new crosstown LRT. I did a walk there last spring. It was 19 kilometers long, the LRT. I think there's 25 stations. If I remember, I'll try and link that video. But yeah, remembering to do that is always a challenge. Okay, so let me go to my notes. Yeah, so what it's going to be called, this new center, it's going to be called the Leaside Innovation Center. It's going to be a 77,000 square foot, 6-story office project. And it's going to be built on this side that we're coming up to. You're going to see it says wood floorings. And this wood flooring store has always been here since I've been here, because I do remember coming to it to pick up, oh, like I said, it was over 30 years ago, to pick up polish for parquet, like wood parquet flooring that I had in my apartment. This here, yeah, I don't remember what was here. Like, this is new, clearly you can see that it's new. I don't remember what was here before. But we're gonna go over to this flooring store. I don't think, actually no, they have not yet vacated this. The owners have not yet vacated this this shop. And I was here about 1.5 years ago to look at flooring. There's something I want to tell you that I asked them. I gotta remember to do that. But I just want to show you here. So it does say 6 floors, 6,984 meters of office and retail, 67 cars, and will also host 37 bikes. I hope the camera's picking that up. We're going to walk around the building. Yeah, so apparently this is going to be, it'll cost up to 40 million. So you can see what it looks like down here. Let's kind of see what's down here. I don't know what this all is about. But I looked at this article and highlighted some important parts because I knew I wouldn't remember. Yeah, so they're calling it Mass Timber Flatiron Building Takes Shape in Toronto. That's the heading of the Globe and Mail article. And then the subtitle is Boutique Office Project in the City's Leaside Neighborhood Aims to Attract Tech Industry. So here is the flooring store. We've come around. I suspect it might occupy this parking lot. I could be wrong, but because that's you know, that's a lot of land that they're going to take up here. So it says that planning is well underway for this Leaside Innovation Center. It says it's being marked as an office condominium units to businesses, and will be a mass timber constructed building which is interesting because I don't think I've ever heard of that term, mass timber. Its frame will be made from glulam. I think that's how that's pronounced. It's G-L-U-L-A-M. It's glued laminate timber instead of steel girders. And they say once construction begins, it will take up to 2 years to be. It'll take up to 2 years to build. And this neighborhood is partially residential with some fast-selling, most coveted upper middle-class homes in Canada. Leaside also has a long commercial and industrial history on its eastern side, which is where we are, where the Innovation Center is to be built. At various times, the area has been home to a munitions factory and an aerodrome with a landing strip. And that was after the First World War. I've been curious about that landing strip. I've heard about it. It's no longer used. I'm just going to walk a bit south so we can see a little bit of this area. I'm just going to shift around a little bit so you can see where this build is going to take place. I doubt it's going to take this building down. It looks pretty new, but you know, it might. Don't know. This is clearly an older building, and it looks like a manufacturing or some sort of industrial building here. You can tell just by this neighborhood. It is more definitely like an industrial park type area. There are condos. That's closer to Eglinton. Those condos. Let me just hop over across the street. Here we're at Lincoln Electric. Take another aim at where we are. I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up way in the distance. That is Eglinton Avenue and Yonge. Those tall buildings. Those tall buildings did not exist from this angle 30 years ago. I remember that far too well. What else can I tell you? There's more to say. Let's just see what's down here a bit, and we'll switch back around. Yeah, so you can see the type of neighborhood it is. So this would be obviously pretty quiet, I suspect, on the weekends. So we are on Wicksteed still. Now let's head back, so I want to show you the other side of that building. So we are near the crosstown, you know, the Eglinton LRT that I mentioned. And that LRT was started in 2010 or 11, and it's supposed to be concluded sometime this year. And it's literally like a 5-minute walk from here. Or maybe a 10-minute walk. I want to find out more about that mass, or that glulam, what is it called? That material that they're going to use. Because I thought that was kind of interesting. Sounds very innovative. So they're looking to use materials that reduce contaminants and improve air quality. Oh, here it is. Okay, the use of glulam timber. Now, if I've pronounced that wrong, forgive me. So glulam timber and cross-laminated timber, which is abbreviated to CLT rather. Cross-laminated timber, CLT. Floor plates. And it continues to say it's an exciting aspect of the project for both the developer and the architect. Canadian Forest Industries has reported that across Canada, mass timber is experiencing a renaissance, and that the global market for mass timber buildings is expected to reach over $16 trillion by 2025. It says mass timber is less carbon intensive than conventional construction materials because of the new renewable forests used for building materials store carbon rather than spew out greenhouse gases, which happens when steel is made from iron and coal. Also says in brackets here, the steel industry is developing more carbon-friendly production methods, such as replacing coal with hydrogen. But most steel making still involves burning coal. I did not know that. Mass timber beams are also about 25% lighter than steel ones, which means that to secure them in the foundation, they need less concrete, which is another carbon-intensive building material. It continues on to say that studies have shown that in fire, mass timber is more structurally stable than steel. Wow, that's kind of cool. That is very cool, actually. And I'm fumbling with my notes here. Oh, and I just lost it. It says here, with its wood beams, Flatiron shape, and brick veneer, the building is being designed to invoke Leaside's earlier businesses while attracting technology and design companies that tend to cluster further downtown. We can cater, and then the contractor says we can cater to people who want to walk to work, ride their bikes, or take the new crosstown. So here it is. Now I think I showed you across the street here. Let's just run quickly across the street. This is the picture that is in the newspaper as well. Now, you probably picked it up already when I walked across the street there. So here it is, but this is the picture that is in the paper. Well, yeah, this is not the exact picture, but you can see on this end here where it's thinner, and then it just widens out to this end right here. So the wide end is going to be there. Here is the other side of it. Yeah, that's the exact picture actually that is in the newspaper. So that's the thinner end. Now that's probably going to be the wider end for sure. And then this way is going to be the thinner end because it's really quite narrow up here. And this road, there's a road that comes through here. So I can't imagine this not being like the smaller part of the Flatiron structure. So I'm becoming more and more enthralled with, during my walks I see so many notices of development, tear downs and rebuilds. This is called the Floor Shop. And when I saw this, I thought, boy, I've known about this store. I've been to this store. I've been down this neighborhood since I've been in Toronto. And I've also noticed all the changes that have occurred in this neighborhood. And it's changing even more. So just a funny story about this. So you can see how this street, Wicksteed, comes straight down here, and then it really turns, sort of does a curvature right in the road there. You can see the cars are coming around. But when you are driving here, particularly if you want to get to the flooring store, you would just kind of drive straight and park where you can see those vehicles parked. And it always seems sort of awkward to me, like it was sort of an awkward drive just because of that little bend there in the road. And I've always thought, you know, if somebody's barreling down this road, because maybe now, but certainly back, you know, years ago, but people would drive a little faster down here because it wasn't very well, you know, highly occupied down here. And I always thought, boy, someone's going to crash right into that. And I thought about that. So when I was here, you know, about a year and a half ago, I asked, you know, I was here buying something, and anyhow, I asked the guy that worked there, I said, have you ever had anybody barrel, like, hit the building? Because it just is such an awkward turn. And you can see it maybe, let me get on this side of the street. No cars here. You can see kind of it's a little awkward. And I said, has anybody ever hit the building? Because I think I said that because I imagined, you know, it was so awkward to get there to park. I thought it just seemed awkward, that it's something that I might do. And that's probably why I asked that question. And he said, oh yeah, he said, they have been hit before by a vehicle. I think he said making that turn and hitting it from this side, like from the front. So anyhow, I wonder whether or not they are going to somehow secure that bend so that when they do construct that building, it's less likely that there's any opportunity for people or vehicles to hit that building. Anyhow, you may not see it as awkward, but I know I did, and it was sort of proven when the fellow in the store said that yes, the building has been hit by a vehicle. So just on the north side of Eglinton, so if we were to go north on Brentcliffe and hit Eglinton and cross Eglinton, we would get into heavy residential, mostly single dwelling housing, some apartments along Eglinton, but right deep into Leaside. North of Eglinton are some very lovely, lovely homes. Broadway Avenue, of course, cuts through Leaside. That's how I used to walk to work when I lived on Broadway, and I was working on Leslie. I used to walk straight down Broadway, cutting through Leaside, and always enjoyed that residential walk. It was so pretty. The homes were so pretty, and it was so quiet in the morning going to work and in the evening coming home. And Laird, which is where we started this video. Sorry about that, folks. The camera just shut off, so I have to start it again. As I was saying, where we started this video on Laird and Wicksteed, when I first moved to Toronto, living on Broadway Avenue, I worked at the Ministry of Health just south on Laird, like the corner of Laird and Overley, and I think that's called Thorncliffe Park area. Anyhow, I used to walk down Laird, and it was very industrial. And now there's this mall, There's another outdoor mall just further south along Laird on the east side of the street, same side as this open mall. But I do see many of the old buildings that were there 30 years ago. There is an auto body shop, or at least a couple. A few other buildings still exist. Some are vacant now. When I was walking there to go to work, they were well occupied. Everything along Laird was well occupied, and mostly like 2 stories. So yeah, I just wanted to show you that what is planned to be a Flatiron like building in Leaside. So that's telling you this neighborhood is going to really be built up. What we see here, you can see rooftops here. You know, in short order, you're not going to see any rooftops. They're going to be all tall buildings. So I'm going to conclude this video. Thank you very much for joining me. I will pick up a video on the other side of Laird. I just want to show you a cute little pocket of Leaside that is south of Eglinton that is sort of village-like to me, and I really enjoy that neighborhood. And that will be in another video. Thank you very much for joining me. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. This is Boomer Girl Walking, signing off.